Hi everyone, we're gonna do the video slightly different today. We will focus on talking about the goalkeeping techniques that Neuer and Casillas are famous to use in 1v1 circumstances. In terms of 1v1, there are so many different saving techniques such as split saves, low block, guessing one way, or just simply making a reaction save. In this goalkeeping series, we will be comparing these techniques that have been used by Neuer and Casillas. So Neuer is remarkable of his split save technique in one-on-one situations. In this video, there are lots of spaces between Suarez and Neuer firstly, as Neuer is trying to position himself at the center of the goal. As soon as Suarez took the big touch, Neuer immediately sprinted out to close the gap. The angle of the shot was tightened and Neuer covered up the angle by making himself as big as possible to make the save. The same situation, as soon as the forward took the big touch, Neuer was ready to sprint out and close the space down. Then he spreaded himself, making himself big to block the shot. The key of this technique is to split the legs to block any low shots and to swing your arms out to block any shots above your chest. The low block is a similar technique, but instead of splitting the legs wide, one leg will be standing whilst the opposite knee will go down on the floor to cover up spaces in between both legs. Let's look at some examples. The Swedish forward was in on goal but being chased by the German defenders. Therefore, Neuer chose to use the low block technique and made the save. However, it is also important that you have to make sure your knee really closes the gap between the legs. Another issue is that the distance between the goalkeeper and the forward should be really tight when using the low block. If not, it is really hard to make the save, especially one of your knee is on the ground. The difference between using a low block and split save is that using a split save can allow you to make yourself even bigger. However, it also means you have to commit yourself. Hence, the advantage of using a low block is that it increases your mobility as you've still got one foot on the floor. As a result, Neuer could make a save like that using the low block but would never be able to make it if he used the split save. Different to Neuer, Casillas has a different approach on 1v1 situations. So let's look at some examples. Instead of committing himself like Neuer, Casillas will drop off and make himself set before the striker hits the ball. By dropping off, it gives Casillas a bit more time to react to the shot. Another identical situation, the forward is in on goal without pressure, but Casillas just dropped off and waited for the forward to shoot and made the save. Last but not least, in the World Cup final, Casillas pulled off an iconic save that he just chose to guess one way in a 1v1 situation, which he did make the save. So after looking at so many interesting 1v1 saving techniques, the question is, when and what technique should modern days goalkeeper use? I would advise short goalkeepers not to use split saves and low block too often, as it requires the keeper to really make themselves big to block the shot. Other than that, keepers should consider to use any techniques possible as long as it keeps the ball out of the net. Thanks for watching the video. If you like it, please smash the like button, subscribe our channel, and follow our Twitter account Tactical VAR. Do it now and we will see you next time. Goodbye!